La Nina watches up heading into winter, a cooling of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. A La Nina 2 years ago during winter gave us some snow, but I expect below average numbers here in my forecast. Only in the purple shade in northern Maine do I expect the best chance for average snowfall. Typically 60 inches southern Maine, 120 in northern Maine. A weak La Nina expected. The NAO and AO are bigger keys to this puzzle because of the weak La Nina. Overall, less snow with less nor'easters. A strong El Nino would have the active subtropical jet. A strong La Nina would bring that cold air and moisture together. Weak versions of the two of these have less direct impacts. That's why the NAO and the AO are going to be bigger keys and bigger pieces to this puzzle going into winter. Let's talk about the trend now. It is for a weak La Nina, marginal at most, an anomaly of around negative 1.0. The trend is for that weak La Nina from November on, a neutral phase of that heading into spring. So you're going to get less impact with a weak La Nina. Temperatures are going to be above average, with the precip at equal chances going into the season dry with a drought ongoing in down east and northern Maine. Above average temperatures expected on the trend for the south and east, 33 to 50% probability of above average temperatures in Maine going into the winter months. Equal chances for precip in New England. We're lacking that subtropical jet stream connection, and we're going into the season with a drought. Here is the drought. The drought removal is expected to happen. However, October, typically a dry month, has been extremely dry. We normally get more moisture from winter storms. That's the forecast. That's why the drought removal starts to happen. Arctic oscillation, that's that cold weather highway. It needs to be negative. We got to break off that cold piece of air and bring it down south. This is a 14-day outlook, so we're not there yet into winter, but it's crucial for snowstorms. We need a negative phase for that cold air to drop down into New England. The NAO, that's when the cold air locks in. We get that storm track to be critical. That Greenland blocking pattern, you see that big H on the map in the wintertime. That's what we need if you want to get snow. A negative phase allows cold air to come down the Labrador Current. The Greenland block slows down the storms. The NAO helps to make big snowstorms. We need this cold air to phase to combine with these coastline storms for big snows. I don't expect a lot of that this winter with a weak La Nina, but that would give us the big one. Like think about 95 and 96, the President's Day storm in New York City. That was a weak La Nina year. Nor'easter back in April of this past season, last year, if you want to call it last winter, there was late season phasing. We had the right timing. There was moisture from El Nino. We had severe weather down in Florida, and you had big time snows in New England and even in southern New England. So we need to have all that come together. I want to look at December in northern Maine and down east Maine, typically 1 to 2 feet of snow just for the month of December. And that's what we need to have to get the season off with an earlier start. There's some signals that this year we're going to have a little bit of a storm in December with the AO going a little bit negative. So right now, that is the hope if you do want some snow to start the season off instead of having us be a deficit. Less than average snow expected, though, especially in southern Maine, where you typically get between 38 to 141 inches. Portland, Cumberland County heading south. The average, the middle of that, around 60. But this year, I expect southern Maine to really struggle. Now, I want to take a look back at the Superstorm of 93, my favorite snowstorm of all time. This was a crippling blizzard of epic scale. It is the reason I fell in love with the weather. The number one all-time snowstorm rating for the East Coast. And there were global impacts from a volcanic eruption that had some factors play into this. So you have to go back to a storm of this proportion, this size, to really get people to fall in love with snow. Now, I was one of them. Thank you for watching Jason Nappi Weather. I'll have updates all winter long right here.